What's less stressful for you right now, promoting a movie or taking care of a newborn?
I don't know. They're both kind of a joy. I don't mean to sound, I don't know if that sounds disingenuous, but they're both my babies.
I guess what I'm asking is, am I just the glorified excuse to get out of diaper changing for half an hour?
I mean, listen, it's a pleasure to be working. Here I am, closing the door, going to work. Nobody disturb me. Daddy's at work.
How have the last few months been pop culture-wise for you? Have you gone down any rabbit holes? What have you guys been watching?
That's a nice question. I like that. We've been doing The Vow.
I was just talking about The Vow. Adam, I'm obsessed. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. We like it. Maybe it's making light of a serious subject, and I'm happy that this thing is busted up. I'm happy that these people are free. I'm happy that it's exposed. But I try to always ask if my wife is at cause. I try to always make sure she's using the tech right, make sure she's not exhibiting any inhibiting beliefs.
Are you exchanging scarves? Are you wearing?
We are both flying up the striped path, sir. Yeah.
So a lot of cult docudramas. Anything else?
I would say half the stuff I end up watching is kids' movies or movies I'm revisiting that are appropriate for the youth. Because I watch a lot of stuff with my daughter, and I will tell you, having a daughter, because I didn't have any sisters, so I wasn't really exposed to more female-centered stories growing up. And by and large, they're at least, I think, better, or if not better in the sense of like more productive for society. And, all the stuff that I loved, I'm like, God, it's all so violent. So I've been doing that, and anime has really been a happy place.
I would venture to say, man, the last couple of years, you've really hit your stride in the film work. Honestly, the last few films that I've seen you in, Ready or Not, the cool little role in Shazam, I've seen Promising Young Woman, which opens later this year. That's a great one.
Yeah.
And now The Kid Detective. Any rhyme or reason to why you feel like you've hit a new stride in the film work?
Honestly, I think it's like opportunity, just kind of luck. I think like cyclical. I'm the same actor I was 5 years ago, and even 10 years. I mean, I've learned more. I'm wiser. I think maybe I have an extra layer, but by and large, one has helped me get the other. It's a popularity contest, and what you did last week really helps get the next thing.
Right.
And so being visible is very good for business, and it's also very satisfying in a I'm performing. I'd love for people to see it and enjoy it. And so it's been an honor and a thrill, and I'm ready for it. But no, it's honestly been a lucky few years.
Is there something also to the fact that I've talked to many an actor who's made a name in their early or mid-20s, right? And it's been a minute now for you, and it takes a while for the industry, I feel to catch up and to say oh wait, you're at a new stage now. Because the blessing for you is you've looked youthful all your life. You could still pass younger, but at a certain point, it's okay, it's time to give this guy grown-up roles and to be men and fathers and really play your age as opposed to playing 25-year-olds.
Well, that's the thing you always want to do. Even I guess I even had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder in the O.C. because I started at 23 and I was like, I'll do the high school show, but I don't want, you got Ryan Gosling over here playing fathers of three. And he's 25, and which is what the cool, that's the dream is you can be, but that's a testament to that guy's, maturity that he could pull that off. And so, in some ways I've been chasing more adult roles, my whole career, but, they'll come sooner or later because, age comes for us all. And also they just get more interest. I mean, not just for the bragging rights or whatever of getting to pretend to be a man, but it's just the roles get more varied. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
There's also a sense of if not security, I think I'm as insecure as anyone, but still a sense of confidence or security in going, I've done it so long and I've got such a sort of long resume at this point that no one role is going to speak for, and the total speaks for, itself. And there's a sense of security in that. And even just going wow, I'll probably get to do this for forever. Now I've been doing it a long time and I'm getting older and still around, and I've probably earned a spot for the next, couple decades, I hope. So
Well, like I said at the outset, The Kid Detective is a great piece of work, honestly. It's an impressive piece of work from a first-time feature writer and director. It's a bit unpredictable. I mean, I'm curious, did it play for you the same way it was for me? When I watched it, it kind of starts out as one thing. It's like, okay, this kind of quirky black comedy kind of thing. And by the end, it's like Chinatown. It's crazy dark and amazing. Talk to me about, did you go on that same ride when you encountered this material?
Yeah, very much. Evan, the writer-director, approached me like 7 years ago at Sundance, I believe, and he was very involved in editing, producing, writing a movie that won Slamdance called The Dirties. That's a special movie that also walks a tonal tightrope and starts in one place and ends in a place that you couldn't believe, and it pulls it off. And so I was like, oh wow, he's really talented. So okay, great. And then he shared with me the first act and didn't know where I was supposed to go after that, but I loved it. I loved his voice. Then disappeared for a year, came back, had the whole script, and I kind of thought it was a masterpiece. I just believed in his voice and talent so much, and it's so apparent from one page in. His writing is so sharp. It does a lot of things, you know. It's dryly and darkly comic throughout. It, I think, delivers on a detective premise, but even though it's a detective story, it's kind of through the lens of this of a sharp indie comedy. But I think that even though a lot of the humor comes from the characters and the town's innocence and naivete, there's a dark undercurrent, with some of the humor and certainly with the subject matter of a murder and a kidnapping. And by the end, you kind of have to pay your due to pay that, both as a character and to truly deal with it, you know, and the reality and the repercussions of those things. So although it ends in a place that on one hand you don't see coming, you can look back and go, it always had to be that way.
Right.
All it is taking it pretty seriously.
Is it fun to play somebody that's kind of like, doesn't have to look so great, doesn't have to be so overtly charming? Because, you know, traditionally, like, your character's like trades on your charm and trades on comedy, and he's like so dry and so beaten down by the world.
It's a treat to play the boozy voiceover sleuth like detective. I mean, that is an archetype that I want to play that more than a superhero. You know, like that is
totally.
That's
like an Humphrey Bogart on.
Yeah,
it's like a classic.
I mean, what an actor's dream. What more could I want to do in a film? And then the last piece of the puzzle, we had this movie for so long trying to get it made, and then finally we're getting it made, and then like 2 weeks before, all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're going. What does he look like? And one of the things we went with, he gets beat up in the early portion of the movie, and we had a real question of how long do we want this bruising to last? And somewhat in a nod to Chinatown, it just cemented the character. We're like, it should last the whole movie. And that just like told you everything. You know, guy got beat up, you know, and he looks at the whole movie. And it's a signature look, and it tells a sad, pathetic story. And it just did wonders.
Are the parallels, and maybe this is too big a jump, but like obviously this is a character that's kind of living down the past, right? They peaked at 13 when they achieved this notoriety as this kid detective. Obviously, you're always going to have the OC conversation with people. You hit that when you're in your early 20s. Is that a connection at all that you made between the character? Like, that's a shadow for me that I have to kind of always deal with in a way, much like Abe has to deal with this fame that he achieved in his early life.
I mean, a little bit. I think in general, more generally, I think as the adulthood is humbling in a lot of ways. Reality hits, and very few of us are where we thought we'd be. Whoever you are, you know, I did have that success early 20s, but I still related it more to like if you were a kid actor. I transpose that kind of idea, but more on certainly a kid actor is very relevant to this. Yeah, on one hand, I mean, I've had to contend with wow, at 33, I didn't have this, I had plenty of opportunities, but maybe not the same that I had at 23 and 24. And that's a humbling experience, but it wasn't a real weight that I've carried around with me. I mean, that show gave me a lot of opportunities. I've never felt, sandbagged by it or slowed down by it. And I felt like I'm able to, carve my own path.
It does feel like you, and I've had the same kind of conversation with Ben McKenzie in recent years.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have both gone on, it's a complex journey for somebody to kind of reconcile it. And it's totally understandable to have that kind of like moment or year or whatever, where you're like, we don't need to talk about it anymore. But it feels like you both kind of came at some point around to the other side where it's like, I get it. It's always going to be part of me. Let me deal with it. I know it means a lot to you. We can have that conversation.
Yeah, very much. That's it right there. It interests me as a part of my life. It interests me less creatively. Like, I haven't seen the show in 15 years. I don't know. Right. But as a piece of pop culture and as a part of my history and my persona, like, it's interesting. I mean, it's not that I can't talk about it, but yeah, for a while, I didn't want it to dominate everything I did. Just like, I mean, to a lesser extent, like, God, does Jennifer Aniston want to talk about Friends?
No, totally. And the incessant questions for, like, and I see it with The Office and Friends. It's like, when's the reunion? Every single interview you get that question, and it's like,
but I was much more concerned with it at the time. At the time, I felt like, okay, I'm doing this show, and like I said, I'm already started at 23, and I was already like, all right, this is cool. It's an opportunity. I like it, but I'm going to try and now carve a path of being an adult actor and not do anything related to this. So I'm going to try and, and as time has gone by and the more I've done, the more separation, doesn't feel like it, it swamps my professional life in the same way. And I'm happy to indulge, happy to be a part of pop culture history. Really.
In that same note, I mean, you guys are smart, and I admire that you value your privacy as much as you do. But when you and Leighton became a couple, did you have the conversation like, when this becomes public, the internet is going to have a moment? They're going to need a moment, or did it surprise you when it became a thing?
It didn't surprise me. I mean, it made sense, but it's kind of unsaid. And that stuff comes in waves. One day there was, when we were a couple of kids, some photographers for a while, and then they go away. Then we got engaged, and then, okay, all right, they're here for a little bit, and they go away. And then, we got a new kid, so they've been around, and I hope that, they'll kind of leave us alone soon. I suspect they will. We do the same thing every day, so it's like, I don't know how profitable that's going to be.
They're charting the growth of the beard. They just want to see how much it comes in.
I know. So yeah, we don't discuss it too much. And honestly, it's not that big. Mostly, it's like our lives are free of that.
Yeah. It was fun to see you pop up in Shazam and what's got to be, like, any actor, no matter how old you are, to don that kind of crazy costume and be in something like that.
Yeah.
And I know you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can you feel cool when you don a superhero costume, or is there the moment of like, oh my God, I look like an insane person right now?
Maybe you can feel cool. I don't know about those ones. But fortunately we got to embrace the goofiness of it by playing kids. So it works perfectly. More than feeling cool, what you want to do is start messing around right away, and flexing and just like making jokes. And that's what we got to do. So it worked well.
Like any cinephile worth their salt, I will forever be obsessed with the lost George Miller Justice League movie, in which you were going to be Flash. Armie Hammer was going to be Batman. I've talked to all of them. I've talked to Armie about this. I talked to Jay Baruchel. Who were you excited? Like, who in the costume did you geek out about? Like, was there one personification of a superhero that got you excited?
I like the idea of young Batman, like Armie Hammer. I liked him playing it. Thought it was a cool counterbalance to Christian Bale. And then also I liked in the script, if I remember correctly, like, he got really messed up. He got like a lot of bones broken in it somewhere. So then they had some Alex Ross inspired stuff of where he's in like an exoskeleton kind of suit. So I thought that was cool. And then, I think tonally, I know I'm in the DC film family now, so I gotta be careful, but I think tonally it had you can do a Dark Justice League, of course you can. But I grew up with the Justice League. Like, there's also an inherent childhood, youthfulness to it.
Yep.
And I thought that script really embraced that in a way that was also going to be action-packed and affecting. I mean, I know it built to a dramatic climax. My character died, and it was, like, emotional. But it also just, like, I don't know, I was like, it's not trying so hard to be so gritty. It was embracing its colorfulness. And obviously, even I didn't know. I really liked the script, and I was happy to be, really, truly, and I was happy to be working with a legend in George Miller. But even I had no idea how sharp he was still, because he hadn't made a live action movie in over a decade at that point.
No, totally. No, Fury Road shocked all of us. It was
everyone was like, who's this kid? Who's the new guy? And so in hindsight, everyone's like, "Oh, it was a masterpiece." It never got made. But
hey, it's a good story at least. You got to be in the Flash costume too. That's pretty cool. It's been a minute since we've had a chance to catch up. I'm glad the Kid Detective gave us an excuse, man. Congratulations on the new kid. Enjoy your time at home. Congratulations on the new film, and enjoy the holiday season. I know Christmas is going to be very special for you this year. Enjoy it.
Already putting up the decorations. Yeah.